Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are listening from. If you've been here before, you know what I'm about to say. Did you miss me? Did you miss me? I hope you did because I missed you too. I promise you, and my guest co-star Minnie, say hey to everybody. Uh, I am very excited to record this episode, but before I do, let me get through the pleasantries. Now, for those who are joining Unapologetically T podcast for the first time, I welcome you with open arms. You could have chose any podcast in the world to listen to, but you decided to listen to me. And like I said, I appreciate each and every one of you that decided to listen to me. And also, my prayer as always with this podcast is that the stories that I tell will give you the strength to tell your story because everybody has a story to tell. And who knows, your story could save someone else's life. And also, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please go ahead. It's Unapologetically T Podcast on YouTube. I can be found on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon Music under that same name. And I do have a Facebook page called Unapologetically T Podcast. I encourage you to like it because I'll be doing some after segments after the episode is recorded so we can have a free and open discussion. And so far, there are no church announcements for today, but I do like to wish a couple of people a happy birthday. First, my friend the Anthony Dion Parks just turned that big 4-1. Love you, big bro. Well, little bro. And also my good longtime friend, Jimmy Coleman. I forgot Jimmy's age, but I ain't gonna mess it up. But happy birthday to y'all. Happy birthday to all the Sag out there. The bluntest zodiac sign ever. One thing about a Sag, they gonna tell you the truth. Don't think about it after, like, oh, okay, I said what I said. So, as I said previously, I am super excited to record this episode called Sha'Mone Now. As you see, my Sha'Mone shirt is old, but all MJ fans know, true fans know, gotta make that change, Sha'Mone. So we're gonna cover this bi topic, and as a uber MJ fan, and a lot of us out there, we are looking at this movie in this trailer with a magnifying glass. If you don't know what an MJ fan is, like, we are devout MJ fans. We know everything besides his blood type. But and also I'm doing something a little different. So I have my notepad, my legal pad out because I'm going to be very Miranda Priestley. That's all. So let's set off to the left and the right. About a month ago, they released a trailer for the Michael biopic. And so far from the trailer, everything looks pretty cool. I think they're just going to cover the first part of his life. And then I heard there's going to be a part two. I don't know yet because you can't really fit Michael Jackson's whole entire life into like 3-4 hours. So if it is coming out with a part two, that's the word on the curb. I really don't know, but hopefully they do. And with looking at the trailer, everything looks pretty on point. But I got some questions. But like I said, big MJ fan. The first time I ever saw Michael Jackson was 1980, according to my mom, probably like 1987, 1988. That's when he was going through his bad era. And the first video I ever saw was, and I'm sure everybody saw it, was Billie Jean. And it was debuted on MTV. Now, let me give you an unknown fact about Billie Jean. Now, for those uh new centennials, brats, sit down and take a pen and paper out because I'm finna drop some knowledge on you. It could be a trivia question one day. Now, back in the day when MTV premiered in 1981, they were the only station that says, hey, we're just going to play alternative rock. It was kind of like a rock station, but in translation, if you know, you know, translation, we only going to play white music. Not any other music. The only outlet that we had back in the day was BET when it was popping. No tea, no shade. But Michael at that time signed with Epic Records. And I remember, and you probably could pull this up on YouTube. It was David Bowie that was doing an interview with one of the VJs. I forgot his name. He had I think his name Adam something. And David Bowie asked a direct question and said, okay, I have a question. Why don't y'all play, African American music videos? And for David Bowie at that time, that was like the shiznick. For him to sit up there and call out MTV and say, okay, why are y'all not playing black videos? And the VJ was like, well, we are actually an alternative rock station. And David Bowie did this number here. Oh, okay. Kind of like, I see your bullshit. but definitely look for that interview. It's David Bowie on MTV. I forgot the VJ name. But back to my story. So the first video I saw was Billie Jean. And how that came about when Michael signed with Epic, and I forgot the record exec over Epic, he told MTV, look, if you don't play this damn video, I'm pulling all my artists off of MTV. Boss move. Those are facts. He said, I am going to pull every artist from your television program if you don't play this song, this video. And I just remember he had the little, Jerry curl, and the things was like lighting up and everything. And also when I come later on, what I know is later on down the line, Billie Jean was Michael Jackson answer to his baby mama. Think about it. Billie Jean is not my lover. She's just a girl who claims that I am the one. I said, dang, Mike had baby mama problems back then. But he says that it was about one of his brothers that had like a groupie and all that other stuff. That was my first memory to see him, being bedazzled. And he was like the entertainer. And when I said the entertainer, Beehive, don't get mad at me. I'm speaking facts. Back then, Michael Jackson can run circles around Beyonce. Side to side, back to back. I'm going to tell you that Michael Joseph Jackson was the only person in history to air his video on 3 major networks. That was the most boss move ever. I remember they paused television programming to air on ABC, Fox, and NBC. The major networks. Like they had the promo and everything. And I remember when Black and White came out, and I was like, oh my gosh. That's when he was in his dangerous era. And ever since then, I was just hooked. He was my first husband, especially when he did Remember the Time. And he came out. Oh, Lord Jesus. I said, that's it. That's it. That's my husband. Fuck everybody else. That's my husband. He came out so smooth and cute. I was like, ah. Little known fact. The late, great John Singleton directed that video. And Michael saw him out. Rest in peace, John Singleton. But all of y'all know, Remember the Time? That was a badass song. So those are my memories of Michael Jackson. I'm cutting it down because I can go on and on and on and talk about my first husband. But he is my first husband. Also, in my room, I have the big Thriller poster, and I have a picture that I'm gonna pull up, which is one of my favorite pictures. Yeah, I'm that serious. Alrighty, so we talked about the trailer. The trailer was pretty good. I'm not gonna even lie about it. It was really, really good. But I got questions. I got questions and I need answers. Let's go. Family involvement. Now, I've heard some different rumors that the family was not involved in it, but come to figure out through my research, it wasn't his daughter and his children were not involved in the process because Paris came out and said, "Nah, I'm not involved. I have zero involvement." And I ain't finna get on the rumor train. Why that happened? Y'all searched it. This is all about MJ today. And I gotta say it. Why Jermaine? Why Jermaine Jackson? I'm gonna be honest. I never cared for Jermaine. I always saw that Jermaine was jealous of Michael, even when he married Barry Gordy's daughter, and he thought, okay, I'm finna come up, and Michael was just still setting shit on fire. It's only two Jermaine songs I like. Let's Get Serious. Serious. Yeah, 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 yeah. Stevie Wonder produced it, which is their cousin. We gonna get on that. And Don't Take It Personal, which is my old that's kind of like one of many of my exit songs, like Don't Take It Personal. But why Jermaine? Why Jermaine? Because I feel like I'm just gonna say it. I just feel like he has to be the spokesperson for everything. And I'm like, bruh. And y'all saw on that at that funeral when he tried to sing, "Will you stop? Pause. No." But I'm like, why Jermaine? Maybe Jermaine pitched it and said, all right, this is gonna be a good movie. Maybe he did. But I'm uneasy about Jermaine being over the project and then his son playing Michael. Now, I don't have any problem with his son playing Michael. So far, it looks like from the trailer, he's gonna do good. So far. I don't know how he gonna do in the movie, but so far they was on point with that trailer. But and I'm sure some of y'all don't like Jermaine neither. I don't care for him. That's point blank end of the period. Now, I'm gonna pull up this cast that they have out, and we gonna set it off to the left, and we gonna set it off to the right. All right. So, all right, if you have not seen it, this is the cast so far. Now, of course, they got what's his name? Javari or whatever the hell his name is. I don't want to mess up nobody's name. They got him playing Michael, and they cast the hell out of Nia Long playing Catherine. Now, here's my problem. Let me go here. Okay. So, that's that's Jermaine's son that's playing Michael. And I don't know about y'all. He looked more like Jermaine. He should have played Jermaine, but okay. Not my ministry. And they got this kid playing the young Michael, which I think is very good. They got it close to it. And let me go down. His name Javari Jackson. So it's okay. I get it. You know, they have some similarities, but come on, stop the cap. He looked more like Jermaine. All right, now this is another thing that I had a problem with. And maybe his family was not involved. My nigga Tito, my favorite Jackson. Tito was a real nigga. Rest in peace, Tito. Now, if the family was involved, hell, you could have picked one of the sons to play Tito. All of them look like him. Shit. You could have picked one of them. But I'm sure they wanted to get somebody that act. But then I'm like, this movie was made in 2024. I'm sure y'all could have got an acting coach, but that's neither here nor there. This one is playing Marlon. They kind of, I give it out of 10, I give it a good solid 8 with Marlon. They got it correct. And this one is playing Jackie. Okay, I can get with Jackie. Jackie actually, they cast this right. Now look at this shit here. Look at this shit here. Who they got playing Jermaine. Do you see Jermaine Jackson similarities on anything? Nah, let's go back. Let's go back to his son. What I say. Could have been played. He could have played Jermaine, but like I said, I'm not part of the movie. I'm just doing my Miranda Priestley right now. Now, here's where I got a problem with y'all. Here's where I got a goddamn problem. I understand that he is a good actor, but come on. Hold on. Sha'Mone Now. Sha'Mone Now. Sha'Mone Now. Do he look like Joe Jackson to y'all? I'm not trying to throw any shade, but he don't look like no goddamn Joe Jackson at all. Like, I don't see the similarities. I don't see it. At least a peak of a similarity, but he don't look like no goddamn Joe Jackson. They cast the fuck out of that, and I got to give it to them. And Miles Taylor as his lawyer. I think that's his lawyer, if I'm not mistaken. No, he was his manager after Joe. And I think he was one of the ones that took him to Epic. So that's his manager. And that's about it. And that Joe Jackson, I can't get. And, you know, they got some other folks that they're casting. I think her name is Cat Graham, or one of them is gonna be played by Diana Ross. Now they cast the hell out of Quincy. Derek Lucas playing Johnny Cochran. That's a 10 out of 10. And of course, Lorenz Tate can't go wrong. He fine in every movie. He playing Barry Gordy. Ooh, Jesus. And even with Diana, you could have put Tracy Ellis Ross. She looked like her, so one of her kids. But I just got a bone to pick with that Joe Jackson joint. So let's move on. Let's move it right along. But yeah, what y'all think about this cast? Like, did they cast correctly? I think they fucked up with Joe Jackson, Jermaine, and who else? Yeah, Joe Jackson, Jermaine, and it was somebody else that they cast wrong. And I'm like, okay, so y'all ain't got no other actors out there that can play that. So yeah, And next, I did say, why Jermaine? Who's playing Janet Jackson? Who's playing Janet Jackson? Can somebody tell me who's playing Janet Jackson? I think personally, and I probably mess up her name, who would be a good Janet is Haley Bailey. I think that's her name. Holly or Haley Bailey. Yeah, I think that's her name. I think she'll be a good Janet because she kind of looks like her to me. I think that she would be a great Janet. She can already dance and sing and stuff like that. But I don't know who's playing Janet, y'all. Y'all got some suggestions who could play Janet? And the next one, I'm trying to figure this out. I know it's early. They just released a trailer, but being an Uber MJ fan, I'm going to be mad as fuck if y'all don't mention these folks, or even if they're in the movie. Let's start with number one. What the hell is Stevie Wonder? That's their cousin. That's their cousin. Stevie actually played on Off the Wall. You know that song, I Can't Help It. He's playing drums. And I can't help it. Even if I could, I can't help it. If I wanted to. Stevie's playing drums. Don't ask me. That's why his name Wonder. So I've been looking and looking. I'm like, who is gonna play Stevie? Now, I have a suggestion. I think who should play Stevie is PJ Morton. That's, I think, who should play Stevie, because, and if you don't know who PJ Morton is, he is an R&B artist, but he has different styles, and he is a show killer. I went to go see him twice live. Baby, the bomb. I think PJ should play Stevie. That's who I think. And so if they don't mention Stevie Wonder, I'm gonna be pissed off. Nah. Rod Temperton. I know some of y'all like, who the fuck is Rod Temperton? I'm glad you asked. Rod Temperton was a songwriter. He was part of Heat Wave, and any hit back in the day, he probably either was on it or he wrote it. And he worked alongside Quincy Jones. And Rod Temperton was like the writer. He wrote Lady in My Life. He wrote most of the stuff for Thriller. And if that, I don't see Rod Temperton anywhere. Who would I suggest should be Rod Temperton off the top of the dome? I can't even think of anybody that could play Rod Temperton. But Google Rod Temperton. Trust me, Thriller would not be the shit without Rod Temperton. So moving right along, Greg Philliganes. Now, us MJ fans, we know who Greg Philliganes is. I'm going to teach you. Greg Philliganes, a.k.a. Mouse, was Michael's music director. He was his MD from, I think, from Thriller to almost to the Bad era. But he did start working with Michael on Off the Wall, because Quincy had like kind of like a dream team. He had Greg Philliganes, he had Rod Temperton, and it was somebody else. And Stevie Wonder. So when it came to certain songs, he'd be like, let me get this person, let me get that person. So Greg Philliganes was his MD. Paul McCartney, who was pissed off because Michael pulled the boss move about getting the Beatles catalog. I'm sure they're gonna put that in there. If they not, trash. And this is Greg Philliganes. We call his nickname was Mouse. And Greg Philliganes, he was playing the piano, and he played on majority of Michael Jackson's first album, Off the Wall, and also on Thriller. Now, I'm gonna have a serious goddamn problem. Y'all don't say anything about Greg Philliganes. I'm gonna have a badass problem if y'all don't say jack nor shit about Greg Philliganes. Mouse. Y'all better do this right. Y'all better do this right. Like I said, I'm finna be very Miranda Priestley. And yes, I will have a legal pad there and doing a review. Michael Peters. And I know some of y'all like, what the hell? Like I said, uber MJ fan. Now, Michael Peters was his choreographer, and he was on Beat It. And Michael Peters, God rest his soul, he passed away. And he was responsible for a lot of moves. Like, if you can find it on YouTube, go to, I think is The Making of Thriller. I don't know if they have it out yet. Now, this is Michael Peterson right here. He was the guy in the white jacket on Thriller. He was like, no, beat it. He was a guy that was on Beat It. And this was the choreographer. He was the shit. Like, Autumn, Beat It, Billie Jean, like anything from the Thriller area that included a music video. This was your guy. And also he was the choreographer for Sister Act 2, as well as Tina Turner, What's Love Got to Do with It. So I'll be upset if they don't include Michael Peters. Now, grab your seats, ladies and gentlemen. Another history lesson. This guy here, Jeffrey Daniels. Now, Jeffrey Daniels is part of Shalimar. Ask your parents who Shalimar is. You know, the second time around. He was part of Shalimar. And he taught Michael how to moonwalk. Michael didn't come up with that shit on his own. He called it backslide. And also, he was a dancer for the original Soul Train, him and Jody Watley. I know I'm throwing some random facts around, but it's a each one teach one moment. So he taught Michael how to moonwalk. He just, you know, just did his own stuff. But if you look at Google Jeffrey Daniels backslide, I promise you, it's the same goddamn thing. I think it was one time Michael Jackson did mention Jeffrey Daniels as a great choreographer, and I'm wondering, no, I don't know if they're gonna do that. I think he was married to Stephanie Mills. I wonder if y'all gonna put that in there about, and you know, I understand probably Auntie don't want all her business out there, but I think he was married to Stephanie Mills. And you know, the word on the curb is that Michael had like this uber infatuation with Stephanie Mills. Love you, Auntie. So Jeffrey Daniels, I'm gonna be upset. Honestly, Michael got all his moves from James Brown. Let's keep it all the way pimping his work ethic. And Michael watched Soul Train a lot. But he got all his moves from Soul Train as well. Like the robot when Dance Machine. It was first debuted on Soul Train. And Michael just saw it like, all right, I'm finna do it, you know. Now I ain't saying that, you know, I'm just saying Michael did swagger jack some things. And it's all good. It's all good, you know. That's why he is the king of pop. To this day, nobody has taken his crown. Now, my thoughts on the biopic, sorry. I'm optimistic that they are going to do a good job with telling Michael's life, but I don't know about you, but me. When I go see a biopic, I want to see something that is not Googleable or something that has been said in the past that they verify whether it's true or false. And if I go to this movie and all the stuff that they say in the movie is Googleable, then I'm gonna be pissed because I'm like, then what the fuck? Why are we here? Why is she here? I'm stupid. But if it's Googleable, what the hell is, and they better not jack the Jackson's American Dream. That shit was tight. And the guy that played Michael, unfortunately, he passed away from leukemia a couple of years after that. But y'all know, I don't want you no more. Trust me again. Watch that. Jackson's American Dream. I hope they don't swagger jack that. I feel like as a gift to the fans from day one, we want to see this shit pulled off properly. They say they're going to have some pre-sale tickets. I will be getting my pre-sale tickets sooner. I may have to, you know, wait on the car note or insurance here and there, but she, me, her is going to be there. And like I said, with my legal pad, being very Miranda Priestley stuff. But you got to do this movie justice. Because when you look at all the other biopics, to me, I keep saying biopic. I'm sorry. Biopic. Charge to my head, not my heart. I say the bona fide biopic for me, which is the cream of the crop, and I base all biopics out from this metric. Ray. I don't care what nobody said. Jamie Foxx. But, here's the thing. Jamie Foxx, spent time with Ray. And of course, Jamie Foxx is a good entertainer and musician and, all of those things. But I want to go see this movie and I want to see reimagine Michael Jackson. I know I'm putting a lot of pressure on this, but as a fan, y'all owe us this. So don't be bullshitting around with it because I promise you, oh, I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be pissed. But I am asking, show something that we don't know. Last time I researched, they said they don't know if they're going to bring up the child, molestation allegations. One thing I do want to see is, of course, we know how he got vitiligo and how long he's been struggling with it. But I do want them to include why he was upset about Off the Wall. And trust me, that's later on in the show. But I want to see some things where us as Michael Jackson fans, where we can see the King of Pop one more time. And there are, I'm going to be honest, there are Michael Jackson fans, that's fan of his music, all that other stuff. And they're uber Michael Jackson fans. And trust me, God Almighty, I'm not the only one. If y'all don't come correct, you getting dragged. And I'm gonna be the number one to drag you. But I hope I hope y'all do this shit right. Don't do it wrong. Please, just for the fans, y'all. For the fans. Do this right. Do Michael justice. And like I said, I don't know if they're going to cover everything. Like I said, word on the curb is that this is going to be the part 1 and then there's a part 2. Now I know they can't cover every fucking thing of Michael Jackson, but I just want them to do this project right. Because I think they've been working on this movie since 2024. Yeah, that's when they started, 2024. And but I hope y'all, yeah, Jermaine, the director, all y'all, I'm looking in the camera. Good luck, and please don't fuck it up for Mama RuPaul. Now, everybody remembered the day that Michael Jackson died. That was a period in time. You know exactly where you was at. Hell, you knew probably what you wore, how your day was, what you ate. It's like the world went on pause because Farrah Fawcett died earlier that day. And as Gary Owens said, they was like, Farrah Fawcett just died. Farrah Fawcett just died. He like, fuck that. Michael Jackson just died. That was right. Like, it was all Farrah Fawcett. But when Michael Jackson passed later on that day, it was like, we knew she had cancer, so the King of Pop is gone. And I remember when MJ died, I was at an urgent care with my husband, and he was having upper respiratory infection. And I'm just sitting up there, and then my mom called, and she said, T, they said Michael Jackson died. No, let me say like the old folk. T, they said Michael died. I said, who? TMZ. I said, Mama, don't believe that bullshit. That was the first time I cussed at my mom. Because back then, TMZ wasn't all that. They was kind of like the Inquirer of journalism. They was kind of like the low-hanging fruit of journalism. So I was like, and everybody knows, if you want something official, CNN has to say something. And so when I got that call, the nurse came in, I said, hurry this shit up, give him his antibiotics. My first husband, they say my first husband is gone. I said, hurry this shit up. I already know what he got. Like, hurry this up. We immediately hopped in the car. I'm going through the radio stations and they saying he had a cardiac arrest. He had a cardiac arrest. And I'm like, oh my God. And I called my best friend Tasha. This is the funniest. This is the funniest memory, even though it was tragic. I called my best friend Tasha and I was like, Tasha, they said Michael Jackson died. And she said, really? Girl, don't pay no, never mind. He probably moonwalking. So I'm going through the internet. And they said cardiac arrest. They said cardiac arrest. And finally, once I got home, I literally sat in the living room, turned on CNN, and they kept on saying, he's been rushed to the hospital he had a cardiac arrest. And so I'm sitting there. Then finally, Don Lemons come on. And he said, breaking news, the king of pop, Michael Jackson, has died. When I said my whole world just stopped, like that was a day, like literally everything. I don't know if you ever seen the movie where this person is imagining things and everything goes black and white and it goes like in slow motion. At that moment, my whole world just stopped because not only I lost my first celebrity crush, I lost a great deal of my childhood. I don't know about y'all, and hopefully some of y'all do remember that. Y'all remember what was it? It was MTV and VH1 when they had a Michael Jackson weekend where they played nothing but his music videos, his concert, Moonwalker, which is his movie. Ooh, I like the movie. Out of 10, I give it a strong 6. No. Yeah, I give it a strong 6 because the plot line was just kind of everywhere. But when he did that man in the mirror at the beginning, and he did that spin and dropped down to his knees. Oh, and Jermaine's son, if you gonna do that, you better nail that shit. You better nail every goddamn move. You better eat, sleep, and shit your uncle. I'm talking about everything. Y'all know what I'm talking about. He did that spin. He did this number. I'm like, ah! Trust me, if Michael's still living, if you see, Google go to one of his concerts, look at it on YouTube. The people that was passing out and stuff like that, that probably would have been me because he was just that magnetic. And it seemed like, and I just sat on the couch and everybody's calling me. I'm not answering the phone. I'm just sitting there like, this is a fucking dream. Because he was about to go on tour for the This Is It tour. That was going to be his last tour. And they did some fuck shit on the This Is It tour because they signed him up for 5 shows. And then close to him starting the rehearsal, they added like 20, 30 more shows. And at that time, Michael was pushing 50. He didn't have all those different moves, but it seems like that day my world just crumbled. And I just sat on, I did not move the whole time. And one thing I can say about when Michael Jackson died, MTV was fucking MTV. All they reality shows paused and they showed nothing but his videos. And they had to because of course they named the video Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award. And it just stopped. I just laid in the bed and I was like, this can't be real. And of course, when the funeral happened, I watched the funeral live. And I sat up there and I said to myself, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. And when they brought him out in that gold casket, that was it. I was done. I was done. I was just up there crying. And I can see you right now, Lionel Richie playing Jesus is Love. I cried doing that. But when Stevie Wonder came out, when I heard Michael Jackson died, The first song I played was I Never Dream You Leaving Summer. Cold ass tune. I never dreamed you leaving summer. I thought you would go and come back home. That was the first. So when he started singing that, oh, if I had a church mother, you would have to fan me. Like I cried the whole time because I'm thinking to myself, like, damn, this is true. And because when I heard about the This Is It tour, and my daughter could tell you, we had a savings set up. I was gonna use that savings to go see him. It was a once in a lifetime thing. And also, fuck the folks that was behind it, that This Is It tour, because of course they was the one that assigned Michael to that whack ass doctor. Fuck y'all royally. But I want to know in the comments below, where were you and what was you doing the day that Michael Jackson died? Comment it on below. I would love to hear it. And now, let's see what Angela says. Angela says it's 5:28 and we are 43 minutes in. Now, here's the hot topic. Off the Wall versus Thriller. Which one was the best album? Please comment below to let me know which one was the best album. I think that Thriller had some bangers. I'm going to be honest. Thriller had some bangers. But me, Off the Wall was a no skip album. And I put this on my Facebook page, my personal one. I was like, is it Off the Wall or is it Thriller? And a lot of people were saying, they love Thriller, but Off the Wall was the shit. Because Off the Wall was authentic R&B. Like he stuck to his R&B roots. And the sad part about the whole situation, since it didn't get nominated for a lot of awards, he said, fuck it, I'm finna do something different and I'm gonna go in here and do Thriller. And the composition was unmatched. It was fucking unmatched. Like, listen to that album. Like I said, I would say Off the Wall to me was one of his best albums. Now, I'm not discounting Thriller. Thriller had bangers. It was good, but it was kind of like a little bit of R&B in there, but mostly it was like crossover hits, which I understand because in the artists at that time, I don't know how it is now. The thing was crossing over, and that means that, okay, if I'm a predominantly Black artist, I want to cross over to the other side, which is, the Caucasian community, because if I get their attention, then there's more money. And it was just like, he kind of, like I said, Thriller had bangers, I'm going to be honest, but Off the Wall, music-wise, composition-wise, how everything went, was the best one. And I felt like going through the rest of his albums, he had some R&B sprinkle here and there. Now, Dangerous was straight New Jack Swing with Teddy Riley. So it gave him a different sound. But I thought about this today. I think it's called Invincible. I hope I ain't messing this up. But his last album. It made me think about this today. When his last album came out, he circled back to his R&B roots. All this time it was like, okay, pop music. All right, need something that'll get me on the airways. Need something that'll keep me at number one. But like I said, he had a little R&B sprinkled here and there. But that last album, it came full circle. Of course, he was working with Rodney Jerkins and LaShawn Daniels, Dark Child. And rest in peace, LaShawn Daniels. He was the one that wrote You Rock My World. You rock my world, you know you did. Wrote about his wife. And everybody, the bangers, Butterflies with Floetry. But I felt like he circled back to R&B in his last album. And that leads me, because we gonna wrap it up. Also, another person that y'all better not forget, and it's by topic. You better not forget Eddie Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen, he played the guitar part on Beat It. And whew, I questioned God on this. I said, he's my favorite guitarist and he died on my birthday. I said, out of all the days you gonna die, you gonna die on my birthday. Now, let's go into my top songs. And that's another thing I want y'all to comment down. What are your top songs? I have some top songs and I have some honorable mentions. Let's go. Number one for me is Rock With You on Off the Wall. I like the live version as well. It's the Bad Tour, Yukakama, whatever, circa 1987, 88. That live version, oh my gosh. Cause yes. So Rock With You is I Wanna Rock With You. That's my favorite song of all time. And it was hard to compile a list because I love MJ so much. Second one was I Can't Help It. I can't help it if I want. Oh, please listen to that song. And that song has been sampled so much. That is the most sampled song. Everybody sampled from that. But Can't Help It. Oh God, it's a beautiful song. The intro. And then Stevie on the drums, my mouse is on keyboard. Mouse is on keys. It's like, oh, please listen to I Can't Help It. It's on the Off the Wall album. Lady in My Life, that was on Thriller. Oh my God, that's another banker. Oh my God. Oh Jesus. Help me, Holy Ghost. Hopefully one day if I do get married, that's going to be my intro song when I walk down the aisle. It is a beautiful song. It starts off very kind of like lullaby-ish, and then it goes into the and listen to my heart, lady. It was like he just drifted over the note, and it was like, oh, stay back with me. Y'all just gotta listen to it. PYT, Thriller. Like I said, Thriller had bangers. I'm not taking that away from Thriller. Thriller had bangers. But like I said, Off the Wall, true R&B. And PIT is PYT. I want to, and that's Janice singing on the background. Dirty Diana, the Bad album. Now, here's my thing on the Bad album. I really didn't like it. I really didn't like the Bad album. It was okay. I just didn't like it. It had a couple of songs on there, but it was like, that's one of my least favorite. It's bad. But Dirty Diana, yeah. That guitar on there, I felt like that was like an upgrade to Beat It. Dirty Diana. And word on the curb is that that was about Diana Ross, and Princess Di actually liked the song. And her and Michael stayed on the phone for hours. I hope y'all put that in the by topic. I know y'all can't cover everything, but pivotal moments. Dirty Diana, Human Nature, was originally written by this group called Toto. They wrote Human Nature because pretty much Michael said bring all the best songwriters, composers, producers, like Rod Temperton is all over that album. He's all over the credits, but they wrote Human Nature. I thought Michael wrote it. And, come to find out later on down the line, Michael didn't really write a lot of his songs. Prince did, though. Toto wrote, and Toto is this 80s rock group. They wrote Human Nature. And Human Nature, it's just kind of like that it gives you kind of like that smooth kind of R&B, kind of 80s kind of music. And it's the bomb. Heaven Can't Wait. Oh my God, please listen to that song. It was off of his last album. Man, that's a banger right there. That is a fucking banger. How he opened it up. You're beautiful, you're wonderful, you're credible. I love Heaven Can't Wait off his last album. And like I said, I love his last album because it looks like he was coming back to R&B. And they was able to put that neo soul on it. And he cooked. Which I'm thinking if he would have if he would have been here today, I think he would have made like kind of like another R&B album. And that album was so slept on. It was so but that album was the bomb. Like it was a different sound for him. Off the Wall. That is one of my favorite, many of my favorite songs is Off the Wall, which is title track. In fact, I think it was my 26th, 27th. I think it was, it was my 26th, 25th birthday because he died in 2009. It was my 25th birthday. And my theme was 25 and Off the Wall. So I had the glove and it was all dedicated to Michael, Uber fan. And final song, Why You Wanna Trip on Me. That's off the Dangerous album. That was produced by Teddy Riley. Pretty much Teddy Riley's all on the Dangerous album because, he had Off the Wall, then he liked it, but he couldn't get the major success that he wanted. Thriller just took the fuck off. And then he had Bad, and Bad was okay. The tour was great, but Bad was just, it was okay. And then at that time in the 90s, the New Jack Swing was coming into play. So he said, hey, Teddy Riley, bring your ass. I need for you to produce this album for me. And he has this song called Why You Wanna Trip on Me. I think it's like the first track, but when I say that junk goes hard like a can of paint, yeah. Why You Wanna Trip on Me. If you want to add it to your playlist, that's fine. Now, honorable mentions. My honorable mentions, which means, it's some songs I do like. Billie Jean, but I don't like the live version. I really don't like the original version. It's cool, but I like the live version better. Someone Put Your Hand Out. Oh, that is such a beautiful song. I forgot what album it was on, but YouTube is so beautiful. And it's like him telling his own story in song. Someone put your hand out. I'm begging for your love. All I do is hand out. It's called, it's so beautiful. Someone Put Your Hand Out. And of course, Butterflies. No explanation needed. Bomb ass track. Baby Be Mine. Thriller. Baby Be Mine. Baby, you gotta be mine. Like I said, it was R&B and a little pop on top of it. It's still a good song, but like I said in the beginning, I feel like with Thriller, it was more so R&B sprinkled here and there. Liberian Girl. Oh, that is my favorite track on Bad. Oh my God. Liberian Girl. I'm having a moment. Liberian Girl. Oh, Jesus. Never Can Say Goodbye. That was after I found out that he died. The next day, that's the song that I played. Never Can Say Goodbye. And here's the funny part: after the day after he died, how about everybody in my family and friends calling me like I'm the spouse? They were like, "How you doing, Tiffany? I'm yet praying for you." Cause I was hurt, damn it. I was hurt. I was like, oh, but and then my sister was like, hey, T, I was calling you because mama said you was probably laying in the street. Yeah, everybody called me. And yes, I was in mourning. Beat It. I love Beat It. Of course, it had the guitar solo by Eddie Van Halen from Van Halen, which is one of my favorite groups. And I actually know how to do the dance off scene. Me and my friend Tasha. Stranger in Moscow. That song is so smooth. And that, how does it feel? Stranger in Moscow. Yeah, that's tight. And finally, Do You Remember the Time? Oh my gosh. Like I said, that video that was premiered, I watched it on Fox after Living Color. And they had this whole production. And Michael was doing shit that nobody else was doing, like morphing and all that other stuff, which costs a hell of a lot of money, and everybody do the shit now. And I think, yeah, he said he got that off of the one of Terminator movies. But when he rose up out of that goal and did this number here, I was done. I said, "Yep, that's my husband. That's my husband. Fuck everybody else. That's my husband. That's my husband." But yeah, remember the time. And one thing Mike did, he made little mini movies. Like the videos, you can't top that shit. Back in the day, he he had the best people, director. Like it was just like it's unexplainable. It's unexplainable. So I'm gonna wrap it up in a minute, but I thought about this and I'm thinking on the top of my dome. The Jackson 5. What are some of my favorite Jackson 5 songs? I'm gonna go off the top and say Heartbreak Hotel. This is the place Heartbreak. I call it Welcome to Her. And anytime I play that song, when Tito Part comes up, I turn that bitch up in my up in my car. Like I was on my way to the gym and I'm like I'm like, yes. Heartbreak Hotel. Let me show you. Let me show you the way to go. Follow me. I think it's called Let Me Show You the Way to Go. What's the other one? Lovely One. You are my, you are my, you are my lovely one. All I do is think about you. They were the first group to sing it, even though Troop sang the stank off of it. But all I do is think of you. What I say, lovely one. I'm trying to think of another Jackson 5 song. I found that girl. I found that girl. Yeah, it's called I Found That Girl. Got to Be There. I'm trying to think. Hell, the whole Destiny album. That was fire. They Destiny album, fire. Everything on there. Blame It on the Boogie. I'm trying to think what's another Jackson 5 song I like. And I know y'all like, you ain't gonna say ABC and Who's Loving You and Stop in the Name of Love. Stop the Love You Say May Be Your Own. I'm sorry. Got that confused with Luther. I think that's it. As far as Jackson 5, I got my little playlist here. I may have missed some. Let's see. I Want to Be Where You Are. I'm trying to think of another one. And I'm gonna wrap it up. But like I said, I could talk about Michael Jackson all fucking day. Yeah. Show you the way to go. Let me show you. Destiny. It's the things I do for you. And of course, Can You Feel It? The Sounds of Perfection, Whitehaven High School performed it. But Can You Feel It? The shit. But that wraps it up. I will be coming out with another episode. It just hit me today. And it's pretty much titled When Life is Lifing, It's Okay to Take a Time Out. We all know right now life is lifing and we're coming up on Xmas, Christmas. And, a lot of people lost their job, family members, their world was turned upside down. And I want to let you know that it's okay to call a time out when life is lifing. But I appreciate you for listening. Once again, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube page, Unapologetically T Podcast. And you can find me on Spotify and Apple and Amazon. And like I said, I do an after recap on my Facebook page, which is Unapologetically T Podcast. That's where you can find everything. And as always, you have the right to tell your story. Don't give anyone the right to tell it for you. And also, when it comes to MJ biopic, I'm gonna look at y'all right here. Good luck, and please don't fuck up. I love you guys. Peace and blessings.